But my ass is fantastic.
And my finishing move makes my ass look even bitter.
I'm sorry, she's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Hello, nurse.
Moral of the story: Alexa Bliss, 5-time women's champion.
I'm okay with this.
And I have no problems with it.
Because I can actually... I like Alexa Bliss versus Ronda Rousey a lot more than Nia Jax versus Ronda Rousey. So that'll be a fun match.
I bet you do. No, in all seriousness, I just love the idea of now that...
Welcome to your SummerSlam title match.
I love the idea that Ronda Rousey is now like, as soon as she comes back, guess what? Alexa
gonna die.
I'm just gonna say I kind of wish she just shows up, even within the 30 days, just showing up, pulling a Stone Cold Steve Austin, just raising all hell.
I'd even do the sitting in the crowd spot during her match. Like I
during an Alexa match. Yeah,
I have a ticket. I'm right here.
Awesome.
And then she comes up and it's like, "Hey, you came up to me." Bam.
Oh, comedy style, I love it. But now we're gonna get to the part that I really love.
Of course you do.
Of course you do. Because I wonder why.
Look, I don't want to be the one to say I told you so, but I told you so. And now, my champion, my big, beautiful, bearded avatar of destruction, like I called it, Braun Strowman is now Monster in the Bank.
And here's my problem with...
It's not good when they say it. Don't call it.
Here's
but
my
it just sounds so good.
No, it really doesn't.
No.
But
Here's the problem. Hold on. I love Braun Strowman.
Yes, we all do. It's across the board.
The whole Monster in the Bank thing is dumb. I'm sorry. It's
I have
silly.
my
But
only
it sounds
problem.
So right.
My only problem with this.
Yes.
He won
you that
Retained.
he helped you retain this. But really, I'm being 100% serious here. It's not. It doesn't work. They're forcing it. Even with the whole announcer. What's her name?
Renee Young.
No. The ring announcer, JoJo.
JoJo.
Yeah.
It's like it's felt so. It's like here's Mr. Money in the. Oh, I'm sorry. I mean, Mr. Monster in the Bank. It is so stupid.
Here's
how much they're pushing.
Here's my problem. Okay, of all the people in that match, who did not need to win Money in the Bank? I do not want Braun Strowman's first title win to be off of a shitty Money in the Bank cash-in. If anyone doesn't need to win the title via a shitty Money in the Bank cash-in, it's Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman could just fucking walk up to some... I hope they're going the route where he actually I hope that they're going the route where he doesn't do the shitty. I'm gonna hit you from the back and win it that way. I hope he just walks up to Brock Lesnar and is like, right now. That's it. But
I think they're gonna have him cash. He's just gonna whoever wins the gauntlet match at Extreme Rules, and then they have a little showdown with him and Brock Lesnar. He's just gonna walk in and just say, "Hey, guess what? Your match at SummerSlam, I'm in it too." I think he's going to announce he's going to cash it in at SummerSlam.
I agree. That's exactly what he's going to do.
Like what you were hoping he was going to do. Because to be fair, Braun Strowman has the perfect cash-in music.
He really
he has the perfect cash-in music.
It makes a big monster instantly into an apex predator.
And let me say this, okay? The best oh shit look of all time was The Miz after Kevin Owens got thrown off the top of that ladder. The Miz is just standing there like he could climb the ladder and grab the briefcase right now.
It wasn't just Kevin Owens. It was the fact that he ran through the one ladder that Bobby Roode and Finn Balor were holding.
I think
whoever the two guys were that were holding it, he just ran right in the middle of that thing, snapping the ladder in half, taking the two guys who were holding it out. Then you see the Miz.
Then Miz goes,
and like the Miz is in the middle of the ring by himself, could climb the ladder and still potentially grab the briefcase, but he's so fucking.
But he's just looking at it and is like, I'd want to move, but you would definitely see that I shit my pants right now.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened. It was fun.
It was fun. But I will agree with what Brian says of all the guys who can really benefit being Mr. Money in the Bank, who actually...
I'm like, why couldn't Braun Strowman just walk up?
Braun is the least candidate.
Yeah, and why couldn't Braun Strowman just walk up to somebody after the end of the Extreme Rules match and just be like, "Hey, I'm gonna be in the match too. Are you gonna tell me no?"
That's it. If they have him say he's gonna cash in at SummerSlam, then I get it.
Yeah,
I understand, but I just,
as long as he doesn't pull that bullshit that they normally do.
I just personally feel that this actually hurt. I actually think it more hurt because it's once again that whole like, oh, there's Braun Strowman's just on another level. There's only certain people that are on that can only go for the Universal title in Vince McMahon's eyes, and that's Roman Reigns, Braun Strowman, Bobby Lashley, and Brock Lesnar. No one else can really go for the Universal title, at least now.
Or nobody can go and win. And they can go, but they can go for the Universal title, but 99.9% chance they are not winning. It's one of those four.
And you know what? That's perfectly okay with me. Having some exclusivity to a title, making it difficult to win, that sounds okay by me. And especially, another thing that really doesn't bother me about this is that they're going to do the surprise cash-in like they have a tendency to do most often.
You hope.
I'm fairly certain of
that.
Because if they did the same thing all the time, let's face it, they can do that kind of spot anytime it'll get a reaction. With this, however, it just reeks of,
they need to have Strowman go the Cena route and give notice.
I really
don't.
RVD.
I really don't have
any in 2 months.
I really don't have any doubt that it's going to really. It's not going to happen like that. I'm not convinced. All signs point to them knowing what they've got in Braun Strowman, and then they'll just do. That's exactly what they're going to do. They're already hinting at it, saying, with even in promos, him saying, "I'm going for Brock Lesnar." Like, yeah, there's no shock anymore. You know what his intentions are, and yeah, Ronnie the Strowman is on the hunt, baby.
I also don't like that they gave both to Raw. They gave both Money in the Banks to Raw. I was like, the person that I would think the cash-in would go better on would be AJ Styles, and I always thought the Money in the Bank was like a heel thing. I've always gone into Money in the Bank and been like, a heel should win, and that's because it's a heel move 95% of the time to use the briefcase, and I think that Braun Strowman could just walk up to Brock Lesnar and just be like, "I'm your next opponent, deal with it." And that's
him the segue to do just that.
I don't think he needs the briefcase to do that.
But he has it now, and
I don't like I don't like it. I don't. That's it.
Let's wait for the next match between the two, and then we'll see. We'll see if this is all worth it.
But here's what the deal is. The next match between the two is going to be great. I just don't like how they're. I think it would make, like, instead of handing a briefcase and saying like, "I'm your next opponent," what would look more badass? Braun Strowman just walking up to him and just being like, has nothing in his hands, just goes, "I'm your next opponent. Deal with it. Deal with it. You're gonna get these hands." Instead of, "Here, have a briefcase. I'm your next opponent."
Except that's not the way I read that whole scenario. I read this scenario as the guy ripped through 5, 6 other guys, some of the best athletes the WWE has to offer, shrugged off, fought his way through a multi-man beatdown, fended off all these guys, climbed a ladder, fought his way to a briefcase, earning him that contract, and he, without fear, says, you know what, Brock, I'm coming for you. You're next. Get these hands. I'm going to eat you. Boom.
I just don't want the novelty to wear off. And for me, it's kind of...
Novelty of Braun or the briefcase?
The novelty of Braun.
It hasn't. Not for me. It really has not.
Because you know how these people get when dominance goes on too long. You know how the fans get. They start to turn on you. And I love Braun Strowman. And all this running through shit. And when was the last time... I don't like Survivor Series. Okay, he wins the.
He was a surviving member.
He was
a survivor.
He's a survivor. Okay, Royal Rumble, greatest Royal Rumble. Obviously, he was gonna win. We should have known that from the start.
I did.
Okay, Elimination Chamber. Okay,
he eliminated everybody.
It's one of those.
Except Roman.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I don't want the novelty of the guy who just wrecks everything to wear off. And so if they go on to if it goes on too long and he wins everything, then everyone's gonna start.
So initially, you like that you want him to be booked strong, but not too strong.
Yeah,
it gets boring. I see what you mean.
Yeah. It gets boring, and he's just got to come out and tear shit apart again.
Strowman wins, lol.
Yeah, so I do want him to get his first title. I'm just like the novelty of Braun tear things up, lol. Braun wins might start to wear a little thin if he keeps winning. I'm like. I would have been fine if he's too busy tearing shit up to realize that someone else is going up and grabbing the briefcase while he's too busy murdering folks on the outside. That's what I thought was going to happen. That's why I'm like, the perfect person for that is The Miz, because Braun Strowman's just out there murdering folks, and The Miz is so scared shitless that he just scurries up, grabs the briefcase, and runs to the back and runs through the crowd to run away from Big Bad Braun. I'm like, that would have been the way that I went with it.
I can so
we could get The Miz cashing in on AJ Styles, and then you get Miz Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania for the title. So that was the way that I would have went for it. But if you want someone to cash in on Brock Lesnar, whatever.
Mm-hmm. All right, so that was the pay-per-view that was Money in the Bank 2018. Overall ratings for the show, gentlemen.
Good matches. The more I really think about it, the more things actually do start to annoy me on certain things. So I'm just going to give it a high classic goatee, a high 3.
Yeah, I'm gonna go the same. You had the Money in the Bank matches were real good. Okay, Elias versus Rollins and Shinsuke Nakamura were pretty good, and the rest was just kind of It was Ronda Rousey did her thing, but the match was too. It was like 10 minutes long, so it was good, but and there were some good. Alexa Bliss cashing in was cool, but the other stuff just felt like filler. And on a pay-per-view, yeah, that's classic goatee level right there.
For me, I honestly have to put this at a full beard, a 4 out of 5. For this one, yes, I would absolutely agree with you that there were some parts where this show absolutely dragged. But when it was up, it was absolutely up. This show had some... The good stuff was just too fun for me. I got too much enjoyment out of it. Granted, it wasn't a perfect show. It wasn't a spectacular, amazing, flawless show to warrant a perfect 5 out of 5. But it still did deliver. I still enjoyed it very much, and I cannot help but give it
It's
a
still
4 out of 5 full beard.
10 times better than Backlash.
Oh,
There you go.
anything. The shit on my shoe is better than Backlash.
Now, before we